Most builders in n8n skip evaluations because they think it's too technical or necessary. But here's the truth. Evaluation is how you test your AI workflow before you actually trust it. It's like testing a car before you buy it to make sure it suits you, or even trying out a piece of cloth to make sure it actually fits you. Without it, you're basically guessing. And when you're guessing with AI, it's definitely going to break at scale. In this video, I'll break down n8n evaluations in the simplest way possible, what they are, why they matter, and how to set them up right now. This is the same approach we use inside the Fiction AI, where we build 5-figure automation systems for clients, and inside the Builders Lab, where we help hundreds of builders create reliable workflows that perform. Let's get into it. So, what is even an evaluation? So imagine this, you're doing a math problem, 1 + 1. The answer should definitely be 2. Now, if your calculator gives you 3, you immediately know something is not right. That's basically what an evaluation is. You tell your AI, here's the question, and this is what you expect the answer to look like. Then you check what the AI actually gives you. If it matches your expected answer, perfect. If it doesn't, something is off, which means you need to fix it. And that's all evaluation means. Testing if your workflow gives you the expected or the right results. So why do we need evaluations in the first place? We do because AI doesn't always give the same answer, even if you're asking the same thing twice. You've probably experienced this with ChatGPT. You've pasted in the same exact prompt in the first case, and in the second case, you pasted in the same exact prompt as you pasted before. And in both cases, you get two completely different, not completely, but two different answers. It might be slightly different, but you get two different answers. However, with normal code, you can write 1 + 1 and it's definitely going to give you 2. But with AI, you might give it 100 examples, or should I say 100 inputs, and each one will be slightly different from the other. So if you want to build AI workflows people can trust, you have to test them again and again to make sure they behave the way you want. Evaluations help you catch mistakes early and see if your changes are actually improving the AI workflow in the first place, or even making it worse, because without evaluations, you're basically guessing. You have no context whether what you changed in the workflow basically made it better or made it even worse. It's just like driving with your eyes closed. You definitely know it's going to end up bad. So that is why we do need evaluation. All right, now you know what evaluations are and why we need them. Now, why is it extremely important when it comes to the AI automation space? So here's the thing, AI is like a black box. You put something inside, you get something out, but you have no idea what's happening inside the box. For example, with code, everything is clear. You can open the box, you can read it, you can understand how it works. If you give the code 100 different inputs, you get 100 predictable, correct outputs that you expect. But it's definitely not like that. If you give it the same 100 inputs, it might give you 90 good answers, 5 weird ones, and 5 totally wrong ones. And you don't always know why that happens. That is why we evaluate. It's our way to check what's really going on inside the black box that we have no context of what's happening inside. And we all have to do that without opening it because it's a black box. And it helps us measure, compare, and trust what the AI is doing, which is very important when it comes to creating production-ready AI workflow systems. So you know what an evaluation is, you know why we need it, and why it's extremely important when it comes to the AI automation space. Now, how do you run an evaluation, or what makes up an evaluation? An evaluation is made up of two things, a test case and a run. Let me open up this evaluation sheet for you here. So you can see here we have a sheet of multiple test cases. So imagine each row as a test case, and a test case is basically what you input into the AI. It could be an email support workflow that you put in your support query and stuff like that. So a test case is basically that query that you give the AI, and then after that you expect it to process some things. Let's say you might expect it to categorize the query, even draft up a reply, or even call tools based on that query. So a test case is basically an input that you give into the AI, and then you have an expected. As you can see here, we have an email subject and an email body. This is basically the input. And then we have our expected email category based on this email body, which is other issue, and we have the actual email category, which is what the AI workflow outputted. As you can see here, this is definitely wrong, which means this test case failed. And a run would basically be if you combine all this and you run it once, which gives you a run, because the way an evaluation works is that you put all your test cases together and then you run it. So which means you're not just calculating the performance of the AI based on just one test case. You have to run it across multiple test cases. You can see we have over 50, and the whole thought process behind this is that because the more test cases you have, the more confident you are in your system. And what do you do after? We check which test case passed, which ones failed, and why it failed. So as you can see, this is a test case. We can see the metrics for each test case here, and if we exit out, we can see the whole, let's say, the average of all the test cases put together, which will give you the metrics for the run, which you can see here, which gave us a categorization of 0.02. Don't worry, I'm gonna explain all this means, but hopefully this gives you a bit of clarity on what a test case and a run is, and how those come together for you to make an evaluation. So we can run an evaluation in n8n because n8n recently added this 5 nodes. These nodes we use to basically run an evaluation workflow. We have the trigger node, which basically triggers the workflow. Just think of it as where it fetches your test cases and stuff like that. So you basically hook this up with your Google Sheet, which is hooked up to this Google Sheet, and fetches each test case row by row. So the process for the AI, and then for the next node, click on evaluation. Next again, we have the set metrics. So in n8n we have 6 different metrics. We have the tools used, we have the categorization, we have the string clarity, we have the helpfulness, and then we have the correctness. We also have the custom metrics, but we're not going to go deep into that. We're going to focus on this one. So we'll be testing out the 6 different evaluation metrics in n8n. I will start simple and build it up step by step. We'll start with a base workflow, and we'll start with a customer support categorizer. This workflow basically reads support messages and decides the kind of problem it is, and that's how we test the categorization metric. Then we will expand that same workflow so that you can write actual replies using retrieval augmented generation, which is known as RAG. And here we'll test the 3 other metrics, which is the correctness metric, the helpfulness metric, and the string clarity. With the correctness metric, just think of it as the AI actually answered the question correctly. The helpfulness metric is that is the answer actually helpful for the customer, and the string clarity is that how close is this to a perfect answer based on what we taught the AI, or should I say based on what we trained the AI on. So we'll upgrade the system to be able to take actions, which is giving it tool usage, so you can fetch other details or process refunds. This step introduces the tools used metric, which just basically checks if the proper tools were called based on the query. Basically, after each of these metrics, we'll test and improve the workflow by first of all changing the prompt to make it better. Then we'll see how these changes are affecting the performance evaluation and if it's actually making the AI workflow better. So the first workflow we have here is a customer support categorizer. Imagine a workflow is reading custom messages. My order is late. I want a refund. I can't log in to my account. It's the job to figure out, it's the AI workflow's job to figure out what kind of message it is and how urgent it is. That's what we call the categorization metric. Basically checking if the AI can correctly label the type of the issue, like delivery problem or login issue, and decide how important it is. If it can do that correctly, your workflow understands the message properly before it even tries to answer, which we use the next workflow, the basically the evolution of this workflow, which will handle RAG. But then now we're testing the categorization metric first. As you can see, the fetch is a test run. Then we have an AI agent that basically categorizes this email. And then after that, we check if the expected answer, which we get it from here basically, and then is the actual answer which we get from the AI agent. And after that, then we set this metrics back into the Google Sheet, which will give us the actual output, and then we set it into the n8n evaluation table itself so that we can track the improvement. And remember, for every run, we'll be using this run tracker, which will have the run number, what we changed in that particular run, and then the results of what happened in the run. We'll start first by testing this base workflow, and we'll see the results that it gave us, if it actually matched or if it didn't. All we're going to do now is just save, then come all the way down, click on test. So once it's done, we're going to look through it and I'll get back to you. It just finished, and a quick summary from here. You can see the completed tokens, the prompt tokens, total tokens, and execution time it took for the run. And if you see the categorization, it's called a Hoping 0.00, which means it absolutely failed. None of the 50 test cases actually matched the expected answer, which means this AI workflow is definitely gonna fail in production. So all we're gonna do to improve it, we're gonna change the prompts to make sure it gets better. But before we do that, what I actually forgot to do was track the run, which is very important. So just put the test case here, and now nothing changed, no happened. Categorization is called 0.0. Now we do run one, and we basically say improved the prompt. Then we go back to our n8n workflow. Then we basically put the prompt. We go into our system message here, prove it. I just basically pasted in this prompt we have here. We just tell it an email to categorize this emails based on if it's a problem with delivery, if it's a problem by returning products, questions, email, if it's a login problem or anything else. We have the output for every single one. So let's just try and break it all clear so that you can see clearer. So this is basically it here. For now, we expect to get better. So how we're going to do that is that we're doing that by testing. Hope this is making sense on how an evaluation basically works. So you click this run test. I'll get back to you once it's done. This finished, and by giving a quick glance, we can see the categorization were almost at 1, which means we drastically improved from 0.02. We even put it in a graph format. You can see, which means it has gotten noticeably better. So if we go back to our run tracker, can you see category is called 0.98, which means there's an improvement, which means the prompts that we added basically improved the AI workflow. And the closer it is to 1, the better, and this is more than good enough. We can add in different things. We can change the model. Right now we're using GPT-5 mini, we can use GPT-5. This is definitely good enough. If we were to check the test cases here, we can see the actual outputs from the AI. You can see this match. Everything, I think it was only one that didn't match. If we go to wish check, it's got 0, it's this one. And I also noticed another trend. You can see the number of completion tokens reduced, which means we're using less tokens, which is another good thing. So we can even add that. The log tracker. Now, that is that for the categorization metric. We'll be moving over to the version 2 of this workflow, which includes the RAG system, which will be testing out the correctness metric, the helpfulness metric, and the string similarity metric. So now we have version 2, which has the RAG capabilities, which we use Superbase, and then here's basically where we offset this document. So you can see we've added more onto the metrics. We can see there's a correctness metric, there's a helpfulness metric, and then there's a similarity metric. One thing I want to add is in the evaluation. If you go to evaluation here and you use this check if evaluating, basically you can have all these evaluation nodes in your production workflow. And what this does 2 times, it checks if this first node basically being fetched from, let's say, a data set, which is a test, and it checks if it's an evaluation run. You can do all this stuff you may want, and if it's like, let's say, a normal production run which is being fed with real user data, you might go on the way, just to give a bit of context on what this is. So now, when your workflow starts writing replies using the retrieval augmented generation, you can see here, we need to check 3 main things to see how good those replies are. We have the correctness metric right here, and this basically checks if the reply is actually right. Did it answer the customer's problem correctly? For example, if someone says my order hasn't arrived and the reply talks about resetting your password, that's definitely incorrect. So in short, the correctness metric basically checks if the reply is about the right thing. Go inside the correctness metric note, we can see we put in an actual answer, and we get all this data from this test case of the version 2 of the workflow. We can see we have an expected reply, and then after the run, or should I say after the evaluation, we'll get an actual reply. So we get these 2 data sets from this sheet, and then paste it here, and then there's a default prompt, the n8n, starting with the correctness node, that then it basically evaluates to see if the correctness matches the expected answer and the actual answer in the prompt. Then after that, we have the helpfulness metric, and this checks if the reply is useful. Even if it's correct, is it actually helping the customer fix their issue? Is it polite? Is it clear? And is it easy to follow? And in short, helpfulness basically checks if the reply truly helps the user. To click the helpfulness metric, we can see it asks us for the user query, which is basically the question the user asks in the email, and then the response. And then after that, it also provides us with a default prompt form checking the helpfulness. And then we get the user query also from this, which is the email body basically. Then we have this, which is the string similarity trick, and this one basically compares the AI's reply to the perfect or reference answer that we trained it on, like checking how close the 2 sentences are. This is not hugely as important, but we just added it here so that we can explain it to you. For example, a perfect answer could be your order is on the way and will arrive tomorrow, and the AI answers that your package should arrive tomorrow. These are 2 different sentences, but they all mean the same thing. Maybe the first answer is how the company SOP doc says you should reply, and this is the AI basically coming up with its own reply. So if you want to make the AI speak based on the SOP company docs, we have to train to do that. So we use the string similarity metric to measure the performance of that. How it does that is that the string similarity metric gives you a score. The closer the score is to 1 or 100%, the more similar the. So in short, the string similarity metric checks how close the AI answer is to the ideal one. And if we were to check the string similarity node, we see that we provided with an expected answer and an actual answer. Get both of those from the worksheet. So now what we're gonna do is that we're gonna run it across these test cases, gonna see how it performs. So started. Once it's done, I'll get back to you as usual. It just finished, and you can see I had to do another run because the first one ran into some issues, but it's the same exact thing, same prompt, same everything. So if we give it a glance, we can see the string similarity is pretty low. Helpfulness is quite high, to be honest. The correctness is low, which means this too need improvement. However, the categorization and helpfulness are really good. And if we check the individual test cases, we can see sure replies, string similarity, stuff like that. But if you were to go into the evaluation sheet and we check the actual replies, we can see it definitely doesn't match, which is why the string similarity ranks quite low. But I also forgot to do another thing, which is the run tracker. So let's quickly track this run that we just did. Basically, nothing changed. There's to workflow, the results that happened for realization, helpfulness, was good, well, uprightness, and what else was it? String similarity. Obviously, you want to go into some detail, into specific numbers, the prompts that you had. Well, then this is just showing you a bit of concept of how you should run tracker. So now what we're gonna do is improve this AI agent so that correctness and string similarity can rank higher. So we're gonna paste it. So we're gonna paste in this prompt, which basically says to use the super base vector, because we're probably gonna guess base by this because it looks like it's not even fetching from what we trained it on, and what we trained it on was this customer support SOP, which basically gives the users instructions on how to help them with their query basically n8n, and then looking for other tracking. Basically tells them to, okay, go to this part on the website and you're going to find your other details. It doesn't, as of right now, it just has RAG capabilities. It doesn't have tool call capability. Next one, we're going to add the function where it does all of this itself by connecting into the database, but right now it just gives you instructions on how to get that yourself. And if we were to check, let's go into the executions of the log, and I'm pretty sure it did not call the super base tool, which I am right, didn't, which is why we're getting the correctness to be very low, the helpfulness quite high, so you can see. So now we're basically adding to this prompt to basically tell it to, your second task is to use a super base vector to craft the reply based on the user message and following the instructions in the SOP. So now we're gonna save it, the track our run, the approved prompt, make the run now, and get back to you. So that is done. So it's just finished, and let's give it a quick glance. You can see the correctness definitely improved. Categorization dropped a bit. Not bad. That could be, I would say, maybe the prompt is a bit too much for the model, but I think GPT-5 me it's more than capable of handling that short prompt. The string similarity dropped a bit, and if you want to see it from the graph point of view, helpfulness is still the same, correctness improved, you can see. Categorization dipped a bit, string similarity to go into the individual each test case run. But most before we're getting tools for correctness, now we're getting 4, because I believe now it's using the vector database. It should be doing. Yes, we can see now it's actually using the vector database. That's correct. So now you can see how improving the performance of the AI agent step by step. What you could do further on is that you could maybe change the model to get this higher up, and string similarities, and the prompts you can add specifics word by word of how the AI should play. I believe this should improve it, but we're not going to get into the depth of that since this is just a demo. For the actual workflow, make sure you're doing that. One thing I forgot to do, which I keep on forgetting to do, is the results tracking, the run tracker, which you should always do. So categorized dropped a bit, helpfulness good, correctness good. Well, so now we have tracked the run. This is a way of seeing how we are basically moving the AI workflow step by step. Next, now we're gonna add tool usage to this AI workflow. We're gonna test the performance of the tools used metric. So as you can see here, this is the next version of the customer support agent. This is the version 3, and we added tool usage. We added it have the ability to get order status from the database, process returns, and check refund status from the database. And the database is just basically a dummy sheet database that we need. You can see it has the customer name, email, item name, the return status, the refund date, and everything. And if we go back, we can see we also added the tools used metric, which we provide expected tools that we expect the AI agent to use based on the test case, which is based on the query. And if we check this sheet, we see we go all the way here, you can see the expected tool. So based on this query, we expect the AI agent to use the get order status. If you check the queries, I ordered the jacket, my order ID is this, can you check what's going on? Yes, and this is the appropriate tool to use. Then we're going to log the actual tool that I used, and we're going to compare. And what basically it just checks the immediate steps. So from the immediate steps, in the immediate steps, it has all the tools that the agent used, or stuff like that. So from the immediate steps, this tool basically identifies the tools used, and then it checks if this expected tool was used. And all we're going to do now is that we're going to run an evaluation, and done. I'll get back to you on that as usual. Run just finished, and if we check the summary of the tool usage, we can see we got 0.60, which is more than, I wouldn't say is good enough, because half of the time, should I say almost half of the time, with the tools were not used. You can see it happened twice here. And if we were to expand this with hundreds of test cases, it would mean 40 test cases did not use the expected tools, which in production this would be extremely damaging. So we would have to improve this. And another thing that I keep on forgetting to do is tracking the run. So let's name brackets testing, nothing changed. There's unique the workflow and what happened. Let's see, let's check out the metrics actually. So you can see here, so string similarity, helpfulness, correctness, 1, so correctness dropped. Same as the run in 3, but tools used was 0.6. Now what we're gonna do is that we're gonna improve the prompt a bit, and because right on the prompt does not have any tools using instructions, so we're gonna add this part that just adds tool usage and then to call this tool. So let's save it again and let's run another test. Once it's done, I'll get back to you. The run is finished, and if we're to look at the summary, we can see a whopping improvement. So if we click on here, we can see definitely improvement from 0.06 to 1, which means every test case, all the tools were used. So from that, we saw a 40% performance increase, which means 40% in the right details getting fetched from the database. And as you can see, based on the prompt that we just added here, this improved the results. And we have to track, which I keep forgetting because it's just a habit. So improve the prompt and means everything is correct. The tool calls true, which means everything is working proper. So as you can see, this is the best and the most predictable way of improving the performance of your AI workflows so that in production they actually work. Before we wrap up, let's talk about the common mistakes people make when running evaluations and how to fix them. Here are the 3 biggest mistakes explained simply. The first one is changing too many things at once. If you change the prompt and the model and the workflow all in one go, or should I say before you do another run, you never actually know the change that made the workflow better or worse. So always fix one thing at a time. This is going to be the prompt, just change the prompt. After that you can change the model, then after that you can change the workflow, and just keep on testing and tracking after each run that you've made. Second one, not enough test cases. If you only test with 2 or 3 examples, your results won't mean much. It's like judging a movie after just watching a trailer. So always use many test cases. For this video, I just used a few test cases because it's just a demo, but in production, you would be looking at 500 to 1000 for production. In small tests, you can use 100 for that's for demo, and in production 5 to 1000. Just think of it, the more data you test, the more accurate your results will be. After that, forgetting to track your results. As you can see in this video, I displayed that perfectly. Always write down what you changed and what results you got after. And if you don't write down what you changed and what results you got, you will forget what worked and what didn't. So it's just a way of basically tracking and seeing how you're incrementally improving your workflow's performance. So keep it simple. You can use a spreadsheet like I used and note each run, what changed and the outcome changed. And that way you can look back and see your progress clearly. Now you know exactly what n8n evaluations are, why they matter, and how to use them to make your AI workflows actually reliable. If this helps you, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next deep dive. And if you want to take this a bit further, join the Builders Lab community. It's the first link in the description. That's where we go hands-on building and testing real automation systems step by step. And if you need a done for you setup, check out the Fiction AI, which is the second link in the description below. I'm Ahmed. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.